Episode 537. We're continuing December series of studio tours with holiday decor demonstrations. And today we're visiting Seattle florist Melissa Mercado-Denke of Campanula Design Studio. We'll be discussing how she differentiates her floral business with a gifting component, and she'll show us a few of her designs for the holidays. Melissa Mercado-Denke is the founder and creative director of Campanula Design Studio. With a degree in accounting and business administration, Melissa started her floral career not as a designer, but as the operations manager for a retail flower shop in Seattle. Over the years, working with clients and helping them express their emotions through flowers taught Melissa to truly appreciate the importance of showing love and gratitude for one another through the simplest of gestures. A single perfect bloom, a small gift, or a short note, well, it can transform a mood. Combining a love for event planning and hosting celebrations, an eye for design, and a desire to bring people together in meaningful ways, Melissa founded Campanula in 2019. The Campanula flower is said to symbolize gratitude, humility, and everlasting love. The products that Melissa collects for her one-of-a-kind floral gift baskets are carefully vetted as she seeks handmade small batch artisan products. As a core value, Campanula uses ethically and sustainably sourced flowers, supporting growers, markets, and farms that share their commitment to fair labor practices and to the environment. She adds, "We offer organically grown products when it's available and feasible to do so. We support local farms as much as possible, and we make informed choices to lessen our impact on the environment when we cannot." Campanula's team hand makes their signature wooden gift baskets using mostly reclaimed wood, and you'll see those in our interview. Return clients are encouraged to participate in the gift basket recycling program. So with every wooden basket returned to the studio for reuse, Campanula sends the customer a gift certificate for $10 off of a future order. Well, I'm certainly in the gifting mood today, so let's jump right in and meet Melissa and learn more about her beautiful brand and aesthetic style. Hi, everybody. I'm so happy to be here today. I'm Deborah Prinzing with the Slow Flower Show, and today I'm welcoming my friend Melissa Mercado-Denke. Hi, Melissa.
Hi, Deborah. How are you?
I'm great. It's so good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Even though we're both in the same town, we don't often run into each other. So I'm happy that you're joining me. Melissa is the owner of Campanula Designs, and she's a studio florist, but she has a very unique approach to her product development. I wanted to talk specifically about what you're doing to differentiate in the marketplace. And as we're coming up on the holidays, I know you've got a lot going on. So thanks for joining me. Melissa, give us a snapshot of Campanula Designs to start so people can kind of see where you fall on the whole spectrum of floristry.
Yes. So I started this business with the concept of what flowers mean, why we give them, how we feel when we receive them, and sort of that feeling of gratitude that drives it all. So as I thought about that, I was chatting with a friend and she said, "You should really do unique gift baskets." Um, and we kind of chatted through it. She gave me some ideas. She had kind of had this like beautiful fruit basket in her mind that she saw in New York years ago. And so I started kind of playing around with shapes and designs. I knew I wanted to feature a lot of local artisans as well as using slow flowers and American grown flowers. And so I kind of created this concept of these wooden gift baskets that my husband makes. They're all from reclaimed wood, water-based stained, meant to be reused in the home as a piece if you so desire, or the garden.
Yeah.
And that's kind of my concept, is that I am a florist, but I am a gift basket company first, a gifting company first.
I love that. When I first saw these baskets, well, they're not woven. They're really like troughs. They're like wooden vintage European gardening troughs, really, right? I thought no one else has this. This is so smart of you to have a product that you designed or collaborated with your husband. I'm not quite sure how that all worked out. You'll have to talk about product development, but it's a way to differentiate yourself because other people are going to the wholesaler and buying some reproduced kind of imported alternative. So that's part of your story too, to have the reclaimed wood and the water-based paints. Like it's all eco-friendly.
It is indeed. And
Yeah.
you hit on it exactly with the European design. I initially bought a vintage trug off Etsy from France. And it was this shape that I use here. And so we kind of based it on that. We went from there and added the flowers, and I spent several months developing the basket concept itself till I got to the right place.
Yeah. And you have two different sizes, right?
I do. So I have, this is my small size. We call it the petite panier.
Mm.
My husband, I don't know if you can see it on the screen, but the inside has our logo laser engraved in the bottom.
Oh my goodness. It's so artisan. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So we're trying to do this design I created myself. We had the big ones initially.
Yeah.
And those were, people needed more price points.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I got to Mother's Day one year, just like, I need this little basket. And so this is truly my baby.
Yes.
So we sell a lot of these. They're very popular.
But it's still large enough to hold a lot of, I mean, you don't just design flowers in that, right?
So what I typically do is design the flowers, and then I'll have items in a gift bag separately.
Okay.
Just to not smash the blooms.
Yeah.
My large baskets have the items designed into them.
There's room for that.
I'll show you that later.
Yeah. And I know I'm jumping ahead of myself, but I'm looking at that thinking, how charming would that be after you give the gift? I could see that in the garden with red geraniums spilling out of it, like something back to that idea of what you'd see on a doorstep in a cottage in England or something. So really charming.
Thank you.
Well, so how you launched Campanula Designs about 3 years ago, is that right?
I started in October of 2019.
Oh my goodness, you did.
So
oh my goodness. Yes. My heart goes out to you. But you talk a little bit about how your path, because you were in flowers. You had time to do a lot of thinking about what type of business you would want to have, right?
Right. So I had worked, as you know, in a retail flower shop in town for about 5 years. I was initially hired there as an accountant and an office manager. So I wasn't designing. And then as time went on and I was in the shop, and of course walk-ins and such, just needing to be able to make hand ties and for clients who just came in, I slowly started designing. I learned from the designers there and got a lot of feedback and would take flowers home and play with them. So as time went on, I started to design more. Still, my primary job was the administration piece. But I learned a lot. And when I came out of it, I wanted to not be what everyone else in town is.
Mm-hmm.
Not to say that we don't need retail florists all over. We do. But I wanted a differentiation and to add that gifting aspect to it.
So was your background in like business administration and bookkeeping and accounting before that?
Yeah, so I have a degree from UW in business administration with an accounting concentration.
That comes in handy.
I didn't ever think I would be a florist. I have this very practical degree.
Yeah.
I've been doing that for most of my life until 7, 8 years ago.
I mean, it helps in being an entrepreneur because you've figured out cost of goods and how you're gonna just general business administration, which most of us who are creative don't have when we start out. Speaking for myself.
It's very common. Creative brains and logical brains play well together, but they don't usually exist very, very creative people like to focus on their creativity.
Yeah, but look at how you've blended, this sort of a little bit farther down in your career path, you discovered flowers and they kind of snuck up on you and
They did.
it kind of captured your heart. So I love that.
Yes, I've
Well,
always loved flowers. So
yeah. Well, you must have loved flowers to take a business oriented management job in a retail flower store too. Like you could have been in baby clothing.
Right. I had actually been nannying for the owner of that shop. So we knew each other through our kids.
Okay.
And it was kind of kids, mutual friends, and it just kind of naturally developed as we got to know each other more.
And I think that we kind of, it's sometimes we just follow the path and it's not well scripted. And yet, if you're open to it, look what happened. Well, so you started in October of 2019, which kind of sucks, but you got through the holidays, you got through Valentine's Day, and then got hit with COVID. And in 2020, have you found that getting through the last year and a half you've managed to do that by just really building up the gifting service, or who are your customers?
So my customers, I have my daily orders that are what a retail florist would serve, birthdays, celebrations, and such. I have a fair number of corporate clients that use me for sending out employee appreciation, get wells, and then they also use me, of course, for holiday gifting and special events.
Mm-hmm.
So I can put together boxes and custom items for them. And then, of course, we deliver all through Greater Seattle. And then when I have corporate clients that have somebody out of town, I'll take that theme and create a box that can be shipped out across the country. So.
Mm-hmm. And your well, okay, so this is really interesting. This curating of gift boxes. I talk with so many people who want to break into corporate floristry, but it's sort of hard to know, what to pitch them, and, actually sometimes convincing companies that they need flowers. So having the gift box component, that's a natural, I would say, it sounds like, they're going to give gifts to their clients and employees. So they may not think of flowers, but they're thinking of this collection you've brought together, right?
Yes. And it's often wine that brings them to me. I deliver wine and beer. And so that's often the place that I find they're searching for wine delivery in Seattle or Googling, and then they come across the baskets and like, oh, wine and chocolate. Sometimes it has flowers, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah. Do you have to have a liquor license to sell wine then, or how do you do that?
I do. I have a special endorsement liquor license that is just specifically for beer and wine delivery. I can't deliver spirits. I can't serve or do workshops with wine, but I can deliver. So.
Yeah, but like you said, that's the point of entry for people. It's a perfect spot.
Yeah.
Well, Melissa, you said you're going to show me a couple, both of your sizes of your wonderful gift boxes, and then maybe give us a little demo. So why don't I minimize my screen, and you can give us a show and tell. I did see wine bottles on the side there. So
yes.
Tell me, what's your starting point when you're creating a design?
So my starting point is always, where did I put it? The basket.
Okay.
So I start here, and then I'll move on to they always have vases of flowers inside.
So that vase just is one of those short.
It's just one of my petites.
Like a ball jar, but with the nail heads on them.
Yes, it is exactly that.
That's pretty. I like that shape.
Simple. You can reuse it for things in the kitchen.
But you want it to be lower than the rim of the basket too, right?
In this case, yes. These
Hmm.
are pretty flush, so we've got 5-inch vases that we drop in, and the baskets are designed such that the rim just hits, so that then the front can spill over and we can create that dimension and design.
That's pretty.
Yeah. So I kind of start there, and then I'll fill in with flowers, of course. Hard to see. Keep talking, and
Yeah.
I'm gonna work on this.
Oh, I love it. Yeah. Well, when before we started recording, you were telling me that there's sort of two, because there's two sizes, you can do all flowers or the combination, but this smaller one, it seems to be more, lend itself more to just flowers because you don't want to put hard gift items inside the basket, right?
Right. So I tend to create. I'll just create a real simple shape so that we can get the concept here.
Yeah.
Um, put a few roses in just to start and show you. Let me just quickly pop some stuff in so they can.
Yeah. And you talked a lot about doing local. Are you like, is the greenery foraged, or are you mainly shopping, from local, like the Seattle Growers Market?
I primarily shop at the growers market. I have a few friends that have great farms and they'll let me forage.
Oh, neat. Oh,
Um,
that snapdragon's so pretty in there.
that snapdragon is just,
It's almost like the dark wine red, blood red.
they're more red than the burgundy, which I love for the holidays just to have that little pop.
Hmm. Hmm.
So these come together really, really quickly, is what I love about them. They're very, very quick for me to design. Um,
Yeah, because the box is part of the design, so it's sort of a whole composition that allows you to kind of just work with the scale of the box.
right. And they're really, really forgiving. So I feel like, when I do these for a friend, I can also show them how to just put, things that you can get at Trader Joe's. And
Oh,
you've got a really, really simple design.
oh,
When
that's
I
so
send them
pretty.
out, they're more filled out with, all of our local special goodies when they're in season. So I do a lot of that. And then item wise, you're not going to be able to see
Yeah,
that.
tell us what you're pairing with that then.
Yeah, so this one in particular, if I did this for the holidays, it's going to have some evergreen and seasonal touches in the floral. And then I'm just going to add, this is a candle that's the artisans in Vancouver. I love
Hmm.
them. It's all rose scented. So this is a ritual rose body scrub. And then a candle, I'll send it out with a little soap, maybe a bottle of wine, something like that. And then it's a complete gift. It's a
Oh my
birthday
gosh.
gift. It's got elements that you keep, it's got consumables. The basket is meant to be reused, like we discussed. So that's my concept with the smaller ones, is to have a gift and flowers. It's hard for shoppers, buyers, to find that kind of combo.
Oh yeah, you're doing all the work, as we use the overused word curate. You're curating the whole theme. And are you trying to? You mentioned the Vancouver artist or candle company. Are you trying to use all like Washington wines or other makers?
These wines, I feature Mark Ryan Winery wines. He's in Woodinville and has a tasting shop in Walla Walla too. That's really, really lovely if anyone makes a trip to Walla Walla. And so I feature this wine just because, I don't know if you can see, I love their labeling.
And what's the name of it?
Mark Ryan.
Okay, Mark Ryan. Okay, I've seen that, but I didn't know they had a tasting room here locally. But it's nice to have that part of your brand then, to say this is your hometown winery kind of thing.
Yeah, it's one of our favorites that we drink at home. And so when we started the company and got our delivery license for wine, it was a natural fit for us to reach
Mm.
out to them and partner.
That's great. So you have a theme for this. You said this is sort of the rose theme box. How many different are you constantly changing the themes of by season or by who the recipient is, like man versus woman, or how do you uh, what do you offer any given time of year?
Yeah, sure. So I have a lot of themed boxes. I have holiday themed boxes, which I'll show you in the larger one. I have spa themed, but different color schemes, different scents, a lot of food products.
Mm-hmm.
And I try to stay within either a local Seattle artisan if I can find them, or I shop nationally with small makers
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
handmade, lots of small batch food
Yeah.
products, that sort of
It,
thing. So I have everything from a paella basket to a spa basket to wine and chocolate.
uh,
Just simple
I
wine
love
and
it.
chocolate.
What are your price points? I know people can go to your website, and we'll be sure to share the link in our show notes when we run this as the podcast. But just to give me a range and kind of what are your best sellers?
My bestseller is absolutely my wine and chocolate petit panier. So it's pretty similar to this in that it has like really deep reds, wine colored tones, peaches, pinks, and then I sell it with a Jacoco chocolate, which is local, and a bottle of wine. Absolute favorite,
I
sell
love it.
a week. In fact, someone out this
Yeah.
morning.
Yeah. And year round. I mean, there's no, you
Year
can,
round. Um,
that's great. That's so smart. And so that also could go to a man or a woman, who doesn't like chocolate and wine, right? So,
Who doesn't like chocolate and wine? I'm always willing to customize. If a client calls me and says, "Hey, can you do this palette? Can you put something else in instead?" He's not really into flowers. Maybe make it smaller. So price point wise, my small basket just with flowers starts at 90, and then the products are add-ons. So
hmm,
I would say my average for the petite is about 135 on average.
okay.
They can go up to over 200 with more expensive bottles of wine, especially, and more products.
Yeah.
If I'm using spa products and fill it out more. So it's really up to the client. When they're shopping on my website, there are lots of price points available, lots of options, but there's also a section I call the build your own basket section where they can just say, I want the basket with or without flowers, and these are the products I
I
want.
see. That's so smart. That's great. And it's a lot of, it's just how people want to shop these days. So you had to kind of anticipate that they might like your pre-designed themes, or they might have their own idea, and you're just going to go either way.
Either way, and I'm always happy to shop for somebody too, do a larger thing. For example, last year during the pandemic, I found this great kimono company that's all out of like one piece of fabric that's down in the ID, and she makes these beautiful soft kimonos in a variety of prints. And I just had this client. She's like, I have a friend. She's was just had a diagnosis that isn't very positive, and I want to send her something just really large and lovely. And we went through and did a cashmere beanie, and we did the kimono, and then coffee, and just added on to make it like
Oh,
personal Seattle touch, but also really luxe for her. It
yeah.
was really lovely.
That's neat. So now show us the big basket. And now this is called the petite
This one, so the little is called the petite panier.
panier. Yeah.
And then the larger guy, we just call the signature because
This
it
was
is our
this was
original.
your original product, right?
This is our original product.
Oh my gosh, Melissa, that's amazing. I
So
love the pomegranate dangling off the edge.
when I can get them right,
Right.
I
So
love to incorporate fresh fruit when I can as an element.
so this actually can hold both the arrangement and the whatever the gift items are. How does that, do you have a divider in the middle, or
I don't. There's just Excelsior is filled here. I don't
mhm.
know if you can see that.
Yep. Yep.
I fill it with Excelsior to kind of boost everything up. And then the floral is in, again, just a 5-inch cylinder. So it can be lifted out or left in the basket, whatever the recipient prefers. I tend to design floral on the left, product on the right.
Right.
This one is more holiday themed. So this is my peppermint themed for Christmas. So I
So
have
cute.
hot chocolate bombs that are peppermint. There's peppermint bark. This is a s'mores peppermint kit.
Oh my goodness.
Marshmallows and dark chocolate grams, peppermint bark as the chocolate. Always wine, often wine. I also have a non-alcoholic sparkling version called Toast that people may have seen in stores.
That's so smart. Yeah.
It's just easy. The bottles really add some structure to the baskets, so I like to include them when I can.
Yeah, and the handle makes it easy too for delivery, probably.
The handle makes it easy for delivery. These things can get really, really heavy.
Yeah, right. I know. I can see that it's probably about 24 inches wide, right?
It is, I think it's 21
Okay.
at the top, and then it's about 5 inches deep. So they're a sturdy basket.
Yeah. So how do you get going with the production? Do you, what's your husband's name, by the way?
Alan.
Alan. I know I've met him before and I spaced out on his name. So do you give Alan like your wish list every Saturday morning and he cranks them out on the weekends?
He tries to crank them out on weekends, lunch hours and such. Lots of just cutting pieces and storing them and then assembling the final basket for me based on what orders there are that day. He'll head out and say, I need 4 petite and 2 large, and he'll run out and put those together for me.
Wow, what a family affair. I love it. What's the price range for the signature basket?
So these, my very, very minimum on these, I think is $145, and that's just flowers and fruit.
Okay.
So that's $145. These range from that up to over $400 when I have more premium products in there. Could go higher if it was a custom.
Right.
The average, I would say, price point that people tend to purchase is around $200 to $250.
Yeah. I mean, it is a premium gift. By getting the one of a kind basket, custom made, you're already starting at that premium level, and you're not having to compete with 1-800 baskets or whatever. You know, that's just not where you want to be in the, in the universe of gifting.
Yes, and as you know, that is an issue for any florist, is all of the competition. There's a lot of competition.
Yeah.
And a lot of wire services. So this gives me that extra edge that people can find locally when they're looking.
Yeah. Yeah. So you mentioned that you might start shipping, but not flowers, but the other items. Because it seems like the baskets are a item enough that you could sell, to buyers around the country. How are you thinking about doing that?
So right now we are focusing on doing them in boxes rather than the baskets. The baskets are dimensionally challenging with shipping rates.
I was trying to think, like, you'd have to custom make a box to fit that in, right?
Well, this one will fit in an extra large FedEx box, but the shipping rate, if it's East Coast with product, can be like $40 plus.
Yeah.
So clients aren't generally too keen on adding on such a large shipping cost when they're doing a premium gift already.
Yeah.
I do offer it, but we tend to create just things that can be shipped in gift boxes. And
that makes sense.
Curated with the Excelsior, we add some ribbons, dried elements on the top just to make it a very pretty gift when it's taken out.
That makes a lot of sense, especially if you are dealing with, like you said, a corporate client who wants you to mail multiples. It's a way to control costs too, probably for them.
It is, yes.
Yeah, yeah. That's great.
I have
Well,
corporate clients ship the small ones, especially.
mhm,
That happens somewhat frequently,
yeah,
but the large ones are a challenge for
yeah,
sure.
I can see that. And also, isn't the small one more square?
It is. It still
Yeah,
has the slanted edges, but it's the widest point getting in a box.
yeah,
So,
yeah. It's a box you don't have to have custom made. You can buy off the shelf. The
right.
standard cube, basically.
Mhm.
Wow. So these are beautiful. I'm inspired. I think that this is a wonderful, if people are in Seattle and uh, are watching this, of course, that's an option. They can come to Campanula Designs. Is it campanuladdesigns.com?
Campanuladesign.com. No.
Design, no, no plural. Okay. And you have a wonderful online shop. And what's your radius for delivery?
It's about 45 minutes from downtown Seattle. So as
Okay, that's
far
pretty.
east as Redmond-ish, Redmond is north up to about Alderwood, and then south to Renton, Kent.
Okay. Yeah. That's a huge, huge
It
critical
is.
mass of people who need gifts. Oh, thank you so much. Tell me what you've got coming up in December, because I know you've got a few fun pre-holiday things, and I want to make sure people know about this.
I do. So I'm doing a floral installation for Fleur de Ville at Pacific Place. I'm not doing one of the mannequins. I'm doing one of the other designs, which I'm very excited about. There's an install already of love letters, big red LOVE, and I'll be creating a Christmas themed design around that.
Oh, wow, that's so cool. And you've already worked on a mannequin from a previous Fleur de Ville, right? And didn't you
I did.
participate in
Yes, I partnered with Laura Bloom on the mannequin when Fleur de Ville was here for the garden show in February
2020? Yeah,
2020.
yeah.
Yes.
Well, so I've talked with the Fleur de Ville people about the Noel. It's called Noel, right?
Yes.
The
Mhm.
display at Pacific Place in downtown Seattle, and I remember now. They said there'll be just a smaller number of mannequins that'll be dressed, but then a whole host of other installations throughout the kind of public areas of the downtown, basically shopping mall, right?
Yes. Yes. It's all through the four levels of the mall.
Oh, wow. Okay, so that is starting on December. It's going for a week, I believe, December 17th through 24th.
No, 17th through the 27th.
Oh,
So
it's even going through Christmas. Okay,
it is
wow.
going through Christmas because the mall is open with the theaters on the top floor. The mall is open the 25th for theaters
Sure.
and restaurants up there. So,
Sure. People want something pretty to look at.
uh-huh.
That's
Yeah.
wonderful. What level is the love sculpture on?
So this is on, I think it's called floor 2. It's
Okay.
level above street level at the top of the escalator.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to see it. That is amazing. Well, I know that when you and several other Slow Flowers members participated in the Fleur de Ville mannequin display, one of the conversations was about keeping things fresh for 5 days. How are you going to do this, Melissa, for a week plus?
I'm lucky in that my design allows for most of the fresh product to be directly in water.
Okay.
I have one piece that is giving me a bit of pause, let's say, and how I'm going to design it. It's a Santa hat off of the O.
Oh,
And
cute.
I think I'll be using agri-wool underneath it.
Oh, wow. Oh,
So,
fabulous.
yeah, agri-wool and chicken wire to avoid any foam. And then, of course, the refreshes have to happen
Right.
regularly. But
Right.
um,
Right.
I'm confident in the product I'm using and using roses that I know will last,
Sure.
California roses that I know will
Yeah.
last,
Yeah.
and just trying to be confident in what I'm putting in there so that I know that it'll stay beautiful and fresh the whole show.
Oh, you're a professional. You're not gonna, and if something has to be replaced, that's just
It
part of the
is.
plan. So Melissa, that it starts on Friday the 17th, and then that there's a marketplace the first weekend that you're participating in, right? Is it the 18th and 19th or just the 18th?
It is running the 18th and 19th, I
Okay.
believe. I'll be participating the 18th on the Saturday. And I'll have baskets available for purchase. I'll have flowers available for purchase. And I'll also be taking pre-orders for the holiday week following for delivery.
Oh my gosh.
So
Okay.
grab and go. And if you want something for the week of Christmas, then I'll have options for that to order as well and be delivered.
Oh, that's so great. Well, it's the first time they've done this in Seattle at the holidays, so I hope there's a lot of buzz created around it. I know you'll be posting photos at your Instagram feed, so I'll be sure to share that with everyone, and I'll try to come down and see that love. It sounds it's just what did you have a lot of choices and that's the one that just spoke to you, or how did that come about?
There were a few choices. That was the primary one that Tina presented to me, was the love. And then as I walked through Pacific Place, I kind of fell in love with it. It's sort of a pop arty installation that's already there. And I came up with some fun little concepts that you'll just have to come down and see.
I love it. Well, also, with the way you describe where its location is, like every single person who enters that space has to walk right by the sculpture. So, it's on the way to the theaters, to the restaurants, to the Sky Bridge, to Nordstrom. Like you can't not pass by. So that was pretty strategic on your part.
I tried. And where is the best place in Pacific? In the mall right now, in Pacific Place. Where is the best place? But
Yeah.
man, it's with the redesign, it's such an open, airy mall that you get the full visual when you're above. You can see a lot of the installations.
Yeah, it is like an atrium now. I was in there recently. That's cool. Well, for people who aren't in Seattle, they can find you on all your social links. I will share those in our show notes when we air this as the podcast next week. But before we wrap up, anything that I didn't ask you that we should include or mention about Campanula design and your work, Melissa?
I'm just continuing to grow the business and work on new concepts and new ways that I can enter the gifting market and incorporate flowers, keep my creativity going, and continue to grow. I'm still a new small business, so more marketing, more concepts coming on the way.
I love it. You have a distinction that is really separates you from, as you said, from the competition. And there's obviously a gift option for everyone. So hopefully they will find you.
I hope so too.
Have a great holiday season. I'll come down and see you at Pacific Place. And thanks so much for sharing your story today.
Thank you, Deborah. I appreciate having a time to sit down and chat with you.
I know. I wish I was at your dining table with you, but it's the next best thing.
Exactly.
Thanks so much.
All right. Thank you. Have a good day.
Hi, everybody. I'm so happy to be here today. Oops, that was my blooper. Sorry, everybody. That was really fun. Thanks so much for joining us today. You'll be able to watch the replay video of today's show, along with the downloadable podcast link found in next week's Slow Flowers podcast for episode 537 at deborahprinzing.com. There, I'll also share more photos of Melissa's design work and how you can find and follow her on social media. Melissa mentioned her participation in next week's Fleur de Ville Noel at Seattle's Pacific Place. The festive installation takes place December 17th through 27th, and there you'll find the floral dress mannequins, floral doorways and counter installations, flower bomb displays, food and beverage with a floral twist, and unique pop-ups and demonstrations, as she mentioned. The fresh, floral, socially spaced holiday experience features top local florists, including Campanula Design Studio, and we've just heard this preview from Melissa. I hope you can attend. It's a free event. If you're in the Seattle area, be sure to stop by while you're out on the town. I hope to see you there. Before we wrap up, I have a few sponsor thank yous. This show is brought to you by slowflowers.com, the free online directory to more than 880 florists, shops, and studios who design with local, seasonal, and sustainable flowers, and to the farms that grow those blooms. It's the conscious choice for buying and sending flowers. And thank you to our lead sponsor for 2021, Farm Girl Flowers. Farm Girl Flowers delivers iconic burlap wrap bouquets and lush, abundant arrangements to customers across the U.S., supporting more than 20 U.S. flower farms by purchasing more than $9 million of U.S.-grown fresh and seasonal flowers and foliage annually. Discover more at farmgirlflowers.com. Thanks also goes to Mayesh Wholesale Florist. Family owned since 1978, Mayesh is the premier wedding and event supplier in the U.S., and we're thrilled to partner with Mayesh to promote local and domestic flowers, which they source from farms large and small around the U.S. Learn more at mayesh.com. Thanks to the Gardener's Workshop, which offers a full curriculum of online education for flower farmers and farmer florists. Online education is more important this year than ever, and you'll want to check out the course offerings at thegardenersworkshop.com. And our final thanks goes to Roadie, an on-demand delivery company offering affordable same-day and scheduled delivery with a network of friendly local drivers who handle each delivery with care and one-on-one support from a designated account manager. Roadie guarantees a smooth and reliable delivery experience from pickup to delivery. Sign up for your first delivery at roadie.com/slowflowers and use the promo code slowflowers. That's one word, and you'll get $5 off. The Slow Flowers Show is a member-supported endeavor, and I value our loyal members and supporters. If you're new to our weekly show and our long-running podcast, check out all of our resources at slowflowerssociety.com. And I'm Deborah Prinzing, host and producer of The Slow Flowers Show and the Slow Flowers podcast. Next week, you're invited to join me in putting more slow flowers on the table, one stem, one vase at a time. The content and opinions expressed here are either mine alone or those of my guests alone, independent of any podcast sponsor or other person, company, or organization. Thanks so much for joining us today, and I'll see you next week.